Hello everyone, welcome to something a little bit different than usual. Today we are going to be discussing a topic and doing a reaction video, which I don't usually do, but I tend to do it if I'm interested in the subject. And the subject today is very important, especially to me and to you, my fellow gamers. We are all gamers, we all love games, we all love different kind of subjects of different kind of games, because there's so many different games that are so vastly different, but they are still so incredible in their own unique ways and loved in their own unique ways. Like you can't, like, let's say Pokemon Fire Red, I have that going. Minecraft, I have that going. Two completely different games that I absolutely love almost to the exact same degree, but they're vastly different. One's 2D, one's pixelated, and one's an RPG. One is 3D, one is about building and also adventuring. Vastly different. But both games are just widely and beloved by many. So let's get into this, because apparently developers don't know what gamers want.
Hi everyone, it's me, Tim. Today I want to talk about, do devs know what gamers want?
No.
This video is a direct follow-up to my video last week, do gamers know what they like?
Which I would suggest you going and watching, because that is actually a very interesting video. Here's the thing about that. Some gamers don't know what they like. Some gamers don't know what they want. But the vast majority do. You know how I can tell? If you look on Twitter, you'll see a bunch of people telling you what they don't like. And if you look at it very vigilantly, they will say directly what they don't like. Now, they won't say exactly what they want, and I know that's a huge problem when it comes to developing a whole entire game, but also another thing about game development is you really shouldn't listen to them. I know they are the consumer and all that, but like you should take Elden Ring into an aspect, because they've done somewhat of the same process every time, but every time they've changed it in their own passionate way that has driven the game to be crafted something beautiful. Every single one of their Elden Ring games, every Dark Souls game, every Demon Souls game, like all of them, they are all just, they're different, but they have a formula, because that is what that audience likes, but they also change it up, and that audience still likes it. It's that passion. It's the passion that we want. There is a consumerism for every single subject, but if you don't like that subject, don't make a game on it, because there's not going to be any passion. The game is going to suck.
Before I made that video, I just mentioned I was going to do it in a comment section almost 2 months ago. And Lyre Noir said, personally, I think do devs know what gamers want is even a better question. And you know what? They're right. So both that video, so I made that video and then I made this one pretty soon afterwards. Keep in mind, these were made back in November. Not even that late November, kind of mid-November. So I don't know what the comments were on that other one, and I have no idea what the comments are going to be on this one. But I think it's better that way, because I want to give you the raw, unfiltered response to, do devs know what gamers want? And here it is. No. No, we don't know what you want.
At least he's being honest.
No idea, seriously,
yeah,
what you want.
There's a lot of discussion on Twitter that okay, so here's the thing. There's a lot of discussion on Twitter that like devs do know what gamers want. They're just not giving it to the gamers. That makes absolutely no sense. Now, we do have evil, malicious people like Sweet Baby Inc. They are awful, and they do know what gamers want, and they don't want to give them what they want. They have actively made videos where they have said that they are trying to burn the gaming industry to the ground. Those are people, yes, those are people who genuinely know what gamers want, but they don't want to give us that, because if those companies make bad games and they don't sell well, those companies can't make games anymore. Hence, no more games for the gamers. That's the whole point of that. But the thing about it is, developers don't know what gamers want. Because the thing is, it's vast. It's very vast. You can like name so many different games that are beloved by people, but they're so different with different passion projects, with different elements to them. A lot of people were mad that what was it called? Astrobot won the Game Awards this year. But I guarantee you a bunch of those people never actually played the game. It's actually a genuinely well-made, passionate project that is so much better than anything that really came out of 2024. You can agree with me, disagree with me all you want, but if we're just being honest with me, like, it is a game that had no issues. It was just a amazing played through game. That's why it won. And you could say, oh, it's just the PlayStation fans. Oh, it's just the Sony fans. Okay, well then you tell me why it won Game of the Year and not multitude of the other games. It won because it didn't have any issues. It didn't have any politics in it. It didn't have anything that would slow down the fun. Every inch of that game is absolutely fun. I've seen people who have started to play it saying that they're not going to finish it, and then they finished it in one sitting. That's what we want. We want fun. If there's something that's going to slow down the aspect of fun, it's not worth it. Don't put it in. We do love good stories, but we want good stories that will make us think, that will make us feel. Not stories that will be like, okay, not really sure why that character said that. Okay, not really sure why this character wants this. Okay, well, I guess this character really wants me to go all this way, all the way over here, so I can stop what I'm doing, so I can go all the way back to go back to them to give them this item. And then they're going to say a bunch of stuff that I don't really like, making me not like that character, making me not like this part of the game, making me not want to play this game anymore.
I almost did this as a short. I was just going to do a short and go, do devs know what gamers want? Nope. And then cut it off. You can stop here. If you want to know why it is we're so absolutely confused about what it is you want, keep watching. Because I know some of you are like, it's stupid. We know what you should know what we want. We don't.
No. There are people that are like that, and it's not stupid. It's not stupid. He's not stupid. He is actually a game developer himself, and he's a really good game developer. The whole thing is, though, developers just don't know. They just don't know. Because the thing is, we don't tell them, and we don't give them, like, what the aspects we want. And every time we try to give them something, it's always mixed. It's always mixed. Because, like, we will tell them, a bunch of people will tell them, hey, we want games like this. But then there will be an active other group that are like, no, we don't want games like this. We want games like this. And then we'll have another group that is like, we don't want games like this. We want games like this. And that's kind of an issue. Because if they can't make a game that has passion into it and know that it's going to make money, they're putting a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into something that's not going to sell, going to run them out of business. And then they just can't make games anymore, which is bad for us and them.
The longer answer. And it's all kind of can be summed up as because you don't know either. But you got to remember, I'm saying the collective you. I wish English had the collective you. Southern English does. Y'all don't know what you want. Let me dive into that.
I think he's right to a degree when it comes to that. The thing is, gamers know what they don't want. But the whole thing is, there's so many different voices. And the problem mostly comes from gamers do know what they want, but everyone is so different. Everyone wants different things. There's a lot of people who don't like Elden Ring and all the Dark Souls games because they're honestly, if we're being honest here, do not lie to me or anyone else, they're hard fucking games. It doesn't matter if you say pussy, it doesn't matter if you say, oh, we'll just get good. That's not helping anyone. There's people who like to play things like Pokemon. It's not a hard game. It does make you think and you have to strategize, but it also has a collecting aspect to it, which is very addictive to a lot of people, and they love that aspect. They love the shining colors. They like the aspect that you can shiny hunt in that game. It is absolutely lovely. There's also people who like to play stuff like Animal Crossing. Very different than Elden Ring. The difficulty is way lower than that game by a lot. It's just a chill game where you can just have a moment and just enjoy the peace and prosperity of your own relaxation. Because sometimes it's just hard to relax on your own. And if you want to escape from reality, it's just a good game to just go and relax to. Instead of getting on, I don't know, something like Valorant or getting something on like Call of Duty Warzone and just fucking raging out at that game. Some people like that. Some people don't want to be happy while playing video games. They want to be very angry. And that's two very different aspects. See the problem? The biggest issue is gamers that like this and gamers that like this keep telling the other gamers that they don't want that. But not every game can be the same. They just can't.
This is a deep dive on why y'all don't even know what you want, which is why we don't know what to give you. First off, many of you only tell developers what you hate.
Twitter.
Great. You said what it is you don't want, but what is it you want? I have an entire video on how to give good feedback, and I'll link it below. But I can just say, when you keep saying, I hate this in games, I hate this feature, I hate these kind of characters and all that, great. What kind of characters do you want? If you hate sarcastic characters, well, guess what? There's an entire realm of non-sarcastic characters.
It's broader than that. It's very broader than that. Because let me give you an example. I and my friend Zach and my friend Jordan are very vastly different when it comes to certain things. I like RPGs. I like games where you feel like you are actively growing stronger in it. I love that aspect. It makes you feel like when you're going through the game, you're actively like, you are the character, you are actively getting through the game. It makes you feel like you are somewhat, you are getting powerful. It's not just the character and you in the game. It feels like you are actively getting that character stronger with your strategy and your power. I like that. My friend Zach, he likes challenges. He likes games that make him think and thrive and make him just actively try harder. He likes to try harder. Jordan, on the other hand, he doesn't really like the games that we like. We like games like platformers, like RPGs, like Pokemon, all that. We like Pokemon, Elden Ring, all that stuff. He's played Elden Ring and stuff like that, but when it comes to RPGs, it's just not his style. And he does like platformers to a degree, but he doesn't like them to the point where he finishes them like me and Zach do. Jordan is much more into the games where he uses his own skill to win. He doesn't want to feel like he's actively growing stronger in the game. He wants to actively feel like he's getting better at the game. He doesn't come there to have fun and enjoy the game. He comes there to get better at the game. He wants the video aspect and less of the game aspect. He likes games like Valorant where, it's all basically kind of the same. You got the guns, you got the characters, but he can actively choose the different characters and the different guns, and he can develop his own strategy into getting better. League of Legends, Call of Duty Warzone, Apex even. Like he likes the games where he doesn't have to choose too much, but he can see himself getting better at the game actively. Me and Zach do like that to a degree, but once it gets to the point of aggravating and rage, we call it quits. We don't like that, But if it's a game where it's about strength and it's about challenge, Zach likes to find ways to get around the challenge, and I like to just go all powered out and figure out how I can get stronger so that I can just get through it. Kind of like a Goku style. It's all three of us vastly different. Very vastly different.
But what is it you want? Do you want funny characters? Do you want serious characters? Do you want characters with a lot of background? Do you characters that with very little, that you don't want to spend a time in a wall of text dialogue?
That's interesting because the thing is, the correct answer is all of the above. We want all of them. We want a funny character. We want a sarcastic character. We want a character that's deep and brooding and sad. We want that. We want all of them. We want you to be passionate and make a character that has some sort of story around it. But the whole problem with the text of dialogue is it's a different subject. So let's say there's a character you really like. You do want that line of dialogue. You want to learn more about that character because you like that character. But the whole thing is, If it's not a character you don't like, you don't want to sit through that. And there's different people who like different things. People usually want the choice of dialogue. And that's so hard to do when you're trying to develop a storyline. If there's a storyline going around, you need certain characters that will be enjoyed by everyone, but also is not going to be too pushy. I guess mostly what I'm trying to say is we would like it more if you had characters that said things that we really liked, and then off to the side you could do like side quests that made you learn more about that character that does have lines of dialogue. That way, people can actively go and search out for these people, do things with them, for them, learn to love them even more, but they aren't forced to. Tell me this. When someone tells you to do something, do you like doing it after that? If you're going to do the dishes and your mother tells you, hey, I need you to do the dishes, do you want to do the dishes anymore? You probably will not. Or I guess I could, let's say like maybe like, okay, older brother says, or maybe even younger brother tells you to go do the dishes. Do you want to go do the dishes? No, because you want him to shut up. You want him to stop talking. You were going to do it anyways. Why is he telling you to do the dishes? You're your own person. You want to do your own thing. No one wants to be told what to do. That's the biggest problem.
What do you want? That's why you have to tell us what you want and not what you don't want. But wait, there's more. Even when you say what you want, you're often extraordinarily vague. You will say, I want a better game. I want better AI. I want a better UI.
Again, this is that Twitter problem that I keep talking about. It's Twitter. It's a bunch of dumb, stupid people that are just angry, spouting shit on the fucking web. They don't know anything about game development. They don't know anything about game development, and they certainly just look at a game that they don't like and say the things that they don't like. That's just, it's Twitter.
Yeah, I'll just slide the better slider from okay to great.
Yeah.
I have an entire video on why developers need context to your feedback. That's never more truer, than when you give feedback. When you give, especially positive feedback. If you don't say what you're talking about, it can be really vague. For example, what does better for you mean in a game? Or when you say, how is that AI bad? What are you talking about?
I know exactly what the fuck he's talking about. The people on Twitter will actively find something they don't like, and they honestly don't like it, and I get that. But you need to tell them why you don't like it and what you would like for them to change. That you got to think about like Ninja from Fortnite. Whenever he didn't like something, he wouldn't just say, man, that's fucking stupid. He would say, wow, that's stupid. I wish it was like this. And then the Fortnite Epic Games developers would change it. Now, should they do that? No, not really. But at least he's giving feedback. He's telling them how the game could be better for him, and people like him that like the game can enjoy and have fun. That's what they want. They want to know how they can do better, how they can make the game fun. That's the whole subject. And like, I can give you an example. I've said this plenty of times. I think Valorant is a great game. They just suck at making a game. That's all. I wish that they would release more guns. That's my thing. If they would release more guns and less characters in Valorant, I would love Valorant. I would be in love with Valorant. I want more shotguns. I want more ARs. I want more SMGs. Why are you releasing sniper rifles? They're so not fun and lame. That's what they want to hear. They want to know how they can make it better, how they can make it more fun. And if there's a group of people saying the exact same thing of how you can get it better, that's what they're going to aim for.
What are they not taking cover? Are they just running straight at you shooting? What do you mean? When you say you don't like UI, what is the friction point in that UI that you're encountering? What is it that's bothering you? If you just say that UI is dumb, it's not helping. And trust me, it's not just gamers who do this. I've worked with people who've literally said that out of their mouth. They're like, that looks dumb. Great, I'll get right on that. Sometimes though, and you know, I've talked about how some UI issues are really an underlying system mechanic issue. This comes up in the videos on encumbrance, where you can have a really good UI if your game supports encumbrance, but you take encumbrance out and suddenly that same UI is terrible because people can carry more. And suddenly there's a lot more things in their inventory, and the UI you were using for a limited inventory doesn't work for a UI with an unlimited inventory. So that's why you need to be very specific about what it is you didn't like. Do you really hate that UI? Or do you hate that you can vacuum up everything? Or do you want to be able to vacuum up everything, but you just wish the game would somehow organize it better?
So here's I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, Tim. By the way, his name's Tim. Tim, not Tim the Tap Man, but this is Tim. He's a real great guy, amazing developer. But the whole thing about this is us gamers, and I'm gonna say us, unless you guys want to disagree with me in the comments, you can do that all you want. But I'm gonna say us. Us as gamers, we want less time spent in the inventory and more time playing the game. That is the whole thing about it. Minecraft is great because it sucks up the items. You don't have to worry about picking it up, going into your inventory, organizing it. It gets sucked up into your inventory. It's sucked up into your first slot or one of your first slots, and then you can see where it goes, and then you can place it accordingly to that. And furthermore, Minecraft also has a thing where you can shift click it faster up into your inventory so you can keep gaming. Do you know how amazing it is to be able to fight mobs in Minecraft and the item gets sucked up? You can go into your inventory, you can shift click it into there, and you can get back to fighting? Exactly. Less time in the inventory, less time doing other things, more time playing the game and the fun aspect that we paid for.
Be specific. Here's the one that really gets me and that many of you refuse to acknowledge. You all, again, I wish English had a plural you all do not agree on what a good feature is. Go back and watch both of my encumbrance videos. They're linked below. Or watch the video I had on fast travel, or even the video I did on providing. You
should watch them. They're really good. They're really good.
Different options in there. Read the comments on it, which I know a lot of you don't do, and you complain that YouTube doesn't.
I did
do a good job of sorting them. Just pick one of those videos, set it to show all the comments, and scroll for a few minutes. You will find that some of you literally say you will not play a game that is lacking a particular feature, and then keep scrolling, and you'll find people who hate games that have that feature. And it can be anything. Fast travel, VO, walls of text.
That's what I was trying to say before. That's exactly what I was trying to say before. And this is something that developers don't understand and that Tim doesn't understand. You need to pick a group of gamers and then abide to them. If you have, let's do something random, Spider-Man. Let's say you have the Spider-Man franchise. You need to make it to where the fans of Spider-Man are enjoying the Spider-Man franchise. You can't just make a game and then listen to the vast majority of people. There are going to be people that don't like that stuff. It's just everyone is different. There's billions and billions of people who play different games for different reasons that like different games. Jordan, my friend, is more into the games that look pretty and have really good graphics. Me, I could go for either, but honestly, I kind of like pixelated games. And honestly, there's a lot of pixelated games that are pretty in my opinion. I love games that are like super pixelated, but they have shaders and they have like all these like different aspects to them. Have you ever played Pokemon Black and White? Beautiful, beautiful 3D pixelated game. And it's one of my favorite games of all time. I wish that Pokemon would do another game like that because they were so good at doing pixelated art And then they added pixelated art into the 3D aspect, and it was so perfect. There are so many Pokemon Black and White fans because of that specifically, because they did such a good job. My friend Zach is also somewhere in that middle ground too. He loves pixelated games because some pixelated games are just so beautiful and pretty. But he also loves things that are like darker shades and more serious and more brooding, like the Batman series, like Elden Ring, like Dark Souls. Like it's pretty, but it's pretty to what he likes, what he prefers. Everyone is different. You just need to make a passion project, and the people there are saying, wow, that is so fucking me. I like that. That's so me. You need to listen to those people specifically, because there's going to be haters, there's going to be critics, there's going to be people that don't like playing those games that are going to say they don't like that game because they don't like that game. There's no way you're going to be able to make it to where they like that game because they just never will. So you just need to not listen to them.
Story mode. Some of you require it, and some of you skip games that have it. And you have reasons for doing it. I'm not saying you're wrong. What I am saying is there's no possible way to make a game that will make all of you happy. What's interesting to me, and this channel has made me really...
That is a key point. There is absolutely not a single game in the world that makes everyone happy. There is not. There is not. There are some games from the Sonic franchise that I think are absolutely perfect. Like an absolutely perfectly made Sonic game. That other people will say, I didn't like that. That is trash. And they mean it. And I just have to live with that. Because that's just the reality. They don't like Sonic. They don't like that game. They like other games.
Really acknowledge it. You don't even agree on the fact that all of you are disagreeing. Some of you
Twitter.
don't acknowledge there are any other game players out there.
Twitter.
There was a video I did where I said people frequently want better graphics, but a lot of you ask for better graphics. And someone said, and I quote, "No one asked for better graphics."
I agree with this. I genuinely do think that if Pokemon went back to the pixel ages, the beautiful, beautiful pixel art style that they did, they would make another huge, big selling game that would make them millions. Because the biggest problem that they have is they keep trying to do these 3D games, but they just can't. And Game Freak, Nintendo, Pokemon, you cannot come to me and say that you are good at making 3D games. You're not. You are terrible at it. You are terrible at doing the 3D stuff. You can come up with some good art designs for some Pokemon, and you can come out with some good cries, some new, you can do all the things that you were good at before with Pokemon, just not the 3D aspect. You suck at it. You're terrible at it. You're not good at doing 3D scenes. You used to do so many scenes in the old games with Ho-Oh, Lugia, with the legendary Pokemon in Black and White. You used to do there was even back in Emerald and Ruby and Sapphire, they did scenes in those. Those were 2D games. Nowadays, even in the good Pokemon games that are 3D that you have, you just do a cutscene. You do a cut. You do a sound, you do a blackout, you do a cut. Nothing. No cutscene. No adding to the game. And shit, if we're being honest, Pokemon Legends Arceus is one of your best-selling games right now. It's the best Pokemon game you came out with that is 3D. Well, since the 3DS era. But even then, there's a bunch of bugs and there's a bunch of trees that are floating. You could have done better if it was just pixelated. Because that's what you were good at. That's what you were amazing at. That's what you were perfect at. That's where your passion was and where you were amazing at. But then you tried to do something new with the 3D and it just didn't work. Sorry.
I guess you never read a review and you don't go on any forum boards. Because yes, they do. And keep in mind, better graphics. Sometimes they're just talking about they want a higher resolution. They bought a 4K monitor and they're upset they're not getting a game in 4K. Sometimes they want a farther view distance. They're upset that it clips really early, or that there's always things blocking their view. They don't get a nice wide view of anything. Sometimes they just mean more creature variety or more location variety. These are all better graphics. These are all things that require a lot more art time,
Yeah.
a lot more things to be loaded in.
He's right.
A lot better optimization of your engine.
Yes.
These are all going into the category of better graphics. And all of you, I guarantee, have asked for some form of better graphics at some point when you're responding to a question of what did you like and dislike about this game. Now, keep in mind, too, sometimes you guys talk about art style, but everything I just mentioned, even if the art style stays the same, you will need more polys and more textures and more everything just to give you more creature variety or more location variety. So just that means, it falls under the aegis of better graphics, but means more work, more artists, more time, more money.
That's exactly what I was also trying to add with the Pokemon aspect, because the thing is, Pokemon nowadays, they don't have really awesome, like, animations when they're battling. They don't have amazing, like, battling poses. They don't have, like, really cool animated, like idle animations. And there is a lot of Pokemon. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of money. If they went back to the Pixel Ages and tried to, like, animate that, that would be a lot less time, a lot less money, and they could focus more on the other things that make the game better. Some games just need to stick with something that just makes their gaming series perfect. And honestly, if you cut corners but still make the game look good, that's not an issue. I don't think that's a problem. If you want to do like a sky dome that's like kind of close by, but it looks good, and then you want to add like other little details that are kind of like 2D, but they look good, and like you can't go past that. You can look at them, but like you can't go past that area. It's like an invisible wall. That should be okay. I don't know why that just is not okay. The thing is, GTA is not coming out anytime soon, GTA 5, because it's such a big game. And it's so huge. It's gonna look really good. It's gonna have all these cities with details in every single corner. It's gonna be a huge city. A lot of work, a lot of time with a lot of dialogue for all these different areas, all these different characters. You have to think about that. They can't come out with that very soon. They can't come out with that as soon as you want, because then it will be shit. Then people won't buy it. Then it won't get Game of the Year. They need time. They need to be able to do things that are humanly possible.
And many of you say, well, I don't really care about graphics. I'm one of you. Graphics have never been high on my list of what I care about in a game. But many, many, many players are attracted to a game by its pretty graphics, even if they stay afterwards because the gameplay is so good. Pretty graphics open the...
He's so right about that. He is absolutely so right about that. There are a lot of people that like the Spider-Man games just because they are absolutely so beautiful. But if you went back, there are still so many Spider-Man games that are like kind of low poly, but play so well. They're so great. They're so fun. They have so many fun aspects. The fighting is so good. The story is so good. But they don't want to play that. Well, one, because it's kind of old, but also two, because it's low poly. It's not up to the new game standards. It's going to make them specifically look bad.
The door. I've told some designers under me, sometimes it's like dating. Your head may be turned by the prettiness, but you stay because of the personality and the chemistry.
That's
so
fair.
It's like that with games. Make a pretty game, more people will at least get their eyeballs on your game. Then they're stay because of the mechanics. And then later on, they're deny ever even looking at your game because it was pretty. One of the things I want to point out is many of you argue against things that would make a game that even tries to provide more things for more players. And I've talked about how design by committee is bad, which I agree with. And usually that leads to making a game that's so bland and vanilla that no one can really have an argument against it, but nobody really feels like playing it. What I mean by that is many of you literally have argued that games should have fewer game options. I'm not even talking about game difficulty, just fewer game options. I have a video on game options. I'll link it below. Again, read those comments. Many of you are going, yeah, I hate when games have a lot of options. I don't know what to set. The designer should have decided that. Why are they making me do that? That's
what? Okay. I don't even know what to say to that. And Tim, if you're watching this, I genuinely don't know why people are saying that. That is not a problem for me. I love, and most people who have like more than 2 brain cells love that aspect. The fact that you have more options, because the whole thing is, I know a bunch of games that don't have options that make it hard to play them. There are a bunch of Lego games that are on the Steam store that if you load them up, they don't have a whole lot of options for PC specifically, and it makes it hard to play. It makes it hard to use your keyboard and mouse, and you're kind of forced to use a controller. And there's a lot of aspects to where it makes it like the resolution looks kind of bad. There's not a whole lot of options for that. And like it makes it harder to play that game because you want to be able to play it the way you want to. And I can understand to a degree where they want the developer to like have things set, like automatically set to a certain thing. But I disagree fully, and I think a lot of you guys will disagree with it. Like you will agree with me and disagree with them too. I think you will disagree with the fact that we do like more options. Having a lot of options is good. Sorry. I do genuinely think that having a lot of options to be able to make your game look good, or even run your PC better, or just run your console better, because who wants their PlayStation or their Xbox to sound like an airplane? You know, not everyone is rich and has like a lot of money to spend on these things. They need to be able to play these games though, because they want to support the developer. They want to spend the money to play these games. They want to love these games.
That just means they didn't have a strong vision. Not ignoring for the fact that many of those options are there to let more people play the game. I'm colorblind. That's a disability. There are games I literally cannot
listen
play
to him
because they have puzzles or information that I'm supposed to pick up on that's color based.
A lot of Nintendo games.
Color blindness options.
A lot of Nintendo games.
Ones of these are ones that don't say up front that they do that. And then later I'm playing the game and I realize I'm playing it wrong, or I've encountered puzzles that I literally cannot solve, and there's no option to do so. Super frustrating. So let me sum up, because I've been ranting for a while. I get that you, the individual, want what you, the individual, want. But you have to realize that you, the individual, are not very good at giving developers feedback, and that you, the individual, are not everybody the game's being made for.
Well, Tim, I'm giving you my feedback, and I'm telling you specifically what I want. I, specifically, me, and this is me, I don't care about graphics. Honestly, I do want you to still make the game look pretty, but it could be pixelated. It really could. I honestly do not care. It could be poly. I've played games that have low poly that are made near this year, like in the 2020s. Like low poly games. Have you ever played the game called, I think it's called Mouthwash or Mouthwashing? I think it's called. It's a low poly game. Have you ever played Iron Lungs? It's a low poly game, but they are so well made. They are so well made and they are fun because they have passion and love behind it. I want a game that has passion and love behind it. It's not going to be an Assassin's Creed. It's not just going to be a clone. It's not going to be a copy. It's not going to slowly kill itself. I want you to say, I want to make this, and I want it to be able to play like this. Make a game that you can play and have fun with and love it the entire way through, and I guarantee you, there is going to be a massive group of people that agree and love it and play it like that. Because the thing is, not everyone loves to rage at Call of Duty games, but also not everyone likes to sit around and just kind of relax while playing Animal Horizon. It's just how it is. Everyone is different. You need to figure out what makes you happy, what you want to focus on, and be passionate about that and make it into a game. If you hate Batman, you should not be working on a Batman game. If you hate Pokemon, you should not be working on a Pokemon game. You feel me?
Many of you aren't even in the majority, and I hear you. I don't think I'm in the majority. I like a lot of niche games. I've made a lot of niche games. And so that's kind of what I'm saying here is game development is hard on its own, technically. But this lack of consensus among game players about what they want takes that difficulty to a whole new level. It's that much harder to make a game that you want to be popular, that you want to have a lot of sales, because most of you don't know what you want. Those of you that do know what you want are very vague at expressing it. And many of you don't realize that what you want isn't what a lot of other people want. This is why, for most of my career,
He's got a point.
What I wanted, what I liked.
Exactly.
Other people would like it.
Exactly.
But it was me and the team just trying to make something we'd like that would make each other laugh, make each other have fun.
Yes.
We were like, gee, I hope people like this. We weren't sure. We didn't care. And when marketing would ask us questions like, what's the demographic for your game? We didn't know.
No one cares. No one cares. No one cares. That is the craziest thing about this. Stop asking that. Stop it. Stop asking for the demographic. There are so many fans of different projects that are of a huge variety of demographics all put into one because they are so passionate and love this thing. You know, Minecraft is one of the most beloved and praised upon games. It was a passion project, a still passion project that is worked on nowadays. There's so many people of different skin color, gender, like so many different people love this game. It's in the 10 millions because it was a passion project that was kept working on to make more and more that they liked. He liked the games that he played. He had fun while playing the game. He had fun with his friends playing those games. Do you know what that means? Not only is he going to enjoy that game, not only is his friends, other people going to have fun and enjoy those games, but there's other people that agree with him, that like those things. He's not the only one. It's not going to be everyone. It's not. But there are going to be a group of people that like it. And as you continue to be passionate and grow more and put things that you like, and that people in that group that agree with you, that like that thing, that are saying things, put more things that they like in there. If you just do that and make it to where you and your community that you have built off of Fallout, off of Pokemon, if you listen to the community that is saying, I love this shit, I wish you would do this, I wish you would do that, listen to those people. But if you're listening to the people that are saying, I hate this shit, I wish you wouldn't do that, I wish you wouldn't do this, you're going to destroy yourself. You're going to destroy your game franchise. You can't listen to them. You have to listen to your team, to you, to yourself. And you have to listen to the people that love your games, that love them. That is what's going to continue to grow your community. That is what is going to continue to grow your game franchise. That is what is going to make it to where you can make a second game, a third game, a fourth game. Do you know how many Dark Souls games there are? And every single one of them is praised upon. Praised. Yeah, there's like some niche critiques from like gamers every now and then, but they're very niche. The people that love those games, they're very niche. They're trying to tell you that this was not fun. I didn't like this part of the game. I wish there was a way to skip it, or if you could just make it more fun, or like maybe even like shorter, so that I can get past it faster. I can speedrun it faster, so I can get to the parts that I do love. The passion that you made that I love. That I'm playing, that I'm having fun. That's what they want. That's what the gamers want. They love these games because you put hours, passion, your blood, sweat, and tears into it, and it came out to make a masterpiece of a game. And they could play it over and over and over, and sometimes they'll add aspects that they like into the game. They'll mod it. They'll make the game that you had passion in. They'll put their own passion into the game because they love your game and they love other things and they want to put the things they love into the game that they love. They love what you created. They love the world that you created. You have to understand, these people can't do the things that you do. They're not developers. They don't understand these things. They didn't spend the time, the money, all that you did to make this beautiful, beautiful game that you did. They can't. But you can. You can make something that you like, that you think is fun, and other people will agree. But if you don't think it's fun, if you can't have fun, if you can't enjoy it, and you're straight up lying to people that it's a fun, good game, people will play it. A massive majority of people will play it. And they will tell you exactly what they think. And I'll tell you what, if it's a bad game, most people are going to say, maybe even the majority, maybe even everyone, there are games that everyone agrees is a bad game. Like I said, gamers know what they don't want. The biggest problem, though, is it's not that they don't know what they want, it's that everyone wants something. It's not all the same. They all want something different, something that appeases to them. Some people like feeling like a superhero and saving lives. Some people like being an asshole and hurting their friends. Gary's Mod, you can play that all day and be a dick to your friends, and that's fun to them. That's fun. They like that. Not everyone's gonna like that. But, you know, if you make a game and you put a lot of love and passion into it, and you genuinely can, so here's the thing, Tim. Make a game. Put a lot of love, put a lot of passion into it. If you can sit through the entire game and play it, and then afterwards you're like, whew, damn, I wish I had more of that. If you, the developer, the person who made the game, who is the player now, says that at the end, people will agree. People will want a sequel. People will like that game. I promise you.
Answer, and most of us, we didn't even care. We're like, I don't know. Why don't you go home and play the game and tell me what you think, who would like it? Many of you like my earlier games. Maybe it's because I did make them in a vacuum like that and I wasn't thinking what people thought. However, I can tell you my later games sold more copies. So what's the right path?
Okay, this is actually the first time I think he's wrong. Now, he's right that they sold more copies, but that he doesn't have the idea of why. He doesn't have the idea of why. He doesn't understand that back then there were so many fewer gamers. There are almost millions and billions of gamers now. The gaming community has grown so much. There's less of people that are saying that games are horrible and awful and devil-like, and there's more people that are now playing them and loving them and falling in love with them. Like they're masterpieces. Like they are something that's a part of them. There are girl gamers now. We used to not have those at all. Now they exist. And there's good girl gamers now. There's good girl gamers that impress me when they play Call of Duty, when they play Pokemon. Because they like the game. They're passionate about your passion project. You put passion into the game. They liked the passion that you did. That's just human nature. They like the world that you built, that they put themselves in. That's the whole thing. A lot of people didn't get to play those games because they didn't have those consoles. They didn't play games back then. There's so many few gamers that were back then than there are now. Yes, you are selling more copies now, Tim, but the whole problem is that you're not doing what you used to back then, and you're thinking that now is better because you're selling more. You're selling more because there's just more gamers. There's a lot of games out there that are terrible, like Pokemon Sword, Pokemon Shield, Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet. Buggy, awful, terrible games that Pokemon will not fix the bugs in. You know why? Because people buy them. People buy them. People buy the games. People buy the DLCs. They're making money off of it. Why would they care to make a better game? Why would they care to listen to the people that are fans when they're making money? They don't have to care. They don't have a need to care. It's like Pokemon games that were made back then were amazingly made, amazing passion projects. And if they were remade nowadays with the same passion that they had back then, they will do good. Let me give you an example from Pokemon. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. All of those games were absolute masterpieces. Then they made Omega Ruby and they made Alpha Sapphire. They put, I would say, if not the same amount of love, maybe even a little bit more into those games. And they were amazing, phenomenal. And they sold extremely, extremely, extremely well. It is absolutely, Tim, you have the absolute wrong idea about the whole thing. I'm sorry, dude. That's just not how it is.
I don't know. But I can tell you this. Do game developers know what game players want? No, we don't.
Check this out.
Hi, everyone. It's me.
But he's right. He's absolutely right. Game developers don't know what we want. And okay, so he's right. It's like dating when it comes to game developers. I want you to think of the developers as a male and the gamers are the female. We are taking what the male is providing us. That's the aspect I want you to do. If we keep sending them mixed signals, they will never know what we want. They will never be able to make us happy. They will never be able to marry us. They will never be able to give us the passion or... You get what I mean, though, you know? We will never be able to build that connection between the developer and the gamer that we once had. But if you watch this all the way through, please tell me what you think. Tell me what you want in games down below in the comments. Tell me if you agree with me or not. And thank you for watching. I hope this helped you out, Tim. I hope this helps out a bunch of developers out there. I hope this helps gamers out there to stop criticizing games and start telling them what you want. What do you want to change? What would you like for there to be instead of what they're doing? Do better, gamers. And to be honest, do better, developers. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.